happy Friday, November 8th, the Friday after the election. I'm going to get started right away because we've got some stuff to discuss. Let me clean this area up. You guys feel free to use the chat. I will try to stay on topic as much as I'm known to be on topic. You guys know that this is where information is power and kindness is key. It's time for Town Hall Tea. Now more than ever, we need to revisit our commitment. Hang on one second. Will you go check my door? My doorbell's ringing. I forgot to put my sign out. Okay, so we're going to keep all of our conversations positive, helpful. You can cut. Oh. We're going to keep all of our conversations positive, helpful, and kind. Please, 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 no trash talking. Please, no trash talking. Oh, that's Miss Kelly. Miss Kelly brought me a key. She's amazing. Trash talk, derogatory comments will not be tolerated. Don't do it. You're going to get in trouble. Please just stay positive and kind, okay? Promise? I think you promised me. Okay. All right. We have results. We have results from the election that we have been watching for these past few months. And today we're going to look at some patterns and some trends. Now, I will tell you that I updated this slideshow 3 times because the numbers are still changing. And we talk about the election has been called or a state has been called. That is not official. So when a state calls an election or when a news station calls an election, it's not official. It's just looking at the number of votes that have come in and kind of making a prediction about where things are going based on that. Most places do not have 100% of their ballots counted. Like they're still counting. If you look at some states, there's 99% counted. So you can reasonably expect that the current situation in that state will stay the same, but other states are not done counting. And so I have updated as much as I can today. The numbers will change, but the results will not, if that makes sense. Let's take a look. So we start with the popular vote. The popular vote, when we were talking about ice cream, it was like which ice cream was the most favorited by all the 5th graders, and we had an answer. So when you count up all the popular vote, Donald J. Trump had more votes total in the whole United States than Kamala Harris, and of course our other 2 libertarian and independent or green candidates. The percentages changed just this morning. Actually, her percentage went up 0.02% and his percentage went down 0.02%, but it doesn't change the outcome. So that's what I mean, like the numbers might change, but the outcome will remain the same. So here's the popular vote. Republican has not won the popular vote and the Electoral College since the 80s. That's when I was a small child, and I know that seems like a long time ago in the 1900s, but the 80s were so cool. All right, let's look at the Electoral College. This, so if you look at different sites, you'll see different results for these 2, for Nevada and Arizona. These ones that are kind of shaded are states that were blue in 2020 for Biden and have flipped for red this year. And so we knew we needed 270 electoral votes to win. And so Donald Trump was able to secure 295. Some sites are already calling Nevada and Arizona both for Donald Trump. And so that puts him at 312 electoral votes. Are we being kind? Are we being self-controlled? I hope so. Okay. So I want to take a look by county. This is an interesting map to me. I'm going to go back real quick. So on election night, the time zone is such that this whole eastern coast will close their polls and we'll start getting results. And then the results kind of flow all the way through the night until late when we get to the West Coast. Typically, the East Coast and the West Coast are blue states, typically, especially the Northeast. It's just how it's been over time. And so what happens is we get all these blue and then a bunch of red come and a bunch of red. And people are like, whoa, the GOP is going to win. But that is called the red mirage because we have yet to call this section over here. And that is nicknamed the blue wall. So from north to south, it is blue on the West Coast. And so it's a pattern that we see every election year. We have the red mirage in the middle where it looks like, oh my goodness, look at all the red. And then we get all of these more liberal states over here. Now, I want you to look at the counties. So we're going to break Texas up into little counties. We're going to break Montana up into little counties. And I want you to look at the red on this West Coast, because right now we see they're all blue, right? Check it. So we saw that Maine was blue, but look at the red compared to the blue. That's because those blue counties right there are the more populated counties. There's more people there. If we swing over to California, we see that like on the beach, all of these cities on the beach are liberal and blue, but these bigger ones in the center are red, but they are less populated. There's not as many people there. So that little bit of blue, it looks like a little bit of blue, but it's more people, so it turns the whole state blue. And we're going to look at Texas and California here in a second. I want to talk to you about swing states. These were the ones that were all striped on the Electoral College. These states are the ones that candidates will really spend a lot of time in because Texas is usually red. It is usually red over the years, red, 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 red. California is usually blue over the years, blue, 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 blue. And so candidates don't spend a ton of time in those places because it's not really an effective use of their time and money. If they can flip these swing states because they swing from one party to the other, that's why they're called that. If they can swing then they'll spend their money and their time and their resources there. And so these yellow, Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, Georgia, Arizona, and Nevada are the main swing states. So I want to show you. I found this little image. I found it very informative. This was last time. This was people voting Donald Trump out of office. So these are those states that can swing either way. You'll see Arizona went to Biden. That's why it's blue. Georgia went to Biden. Michigan. Now, North Carolina had gone to Trump that year, and it was by 74,000 votes. So I really liked this graph, and I couldn't find it for 2024, probably because we're not done voting or counting votes. So I made my own, and here it is. This time, all 7 swing states went to Trump. So on the left, we have people deciding that they want a different vision and they are voting Trump out. And on the right, it's people choosing to vote Trump back in, which I thought was really interesting. And the margin is different. So Biden won by 10,000 Arizona, Trump won by 135,000. If you look at North Carolina in 2020, Trump had won by 74,000. This year, he won by almost 200,000. So that's a big deal when you're looking at what the American people are thinking. Like they got rid of him and then they brought him back, but they brought him back in many ways by larger numbers. And so it's just something to think about when you're looking at where the country is and just where we're going and what people are looking for. It's very interesting to use these numbers to, because numbers are numbers, but numbers mean something. Numbers tell a story. And these are definitely telling a story. So this is Texas. in 2020. And I love this map because you can see where the large cities are. These two blue up here, that's Dallas and Fort Worth. These three right here, this is up near Austin. This blue right here is us, Bexar County. And over here we have Houston. So these highly populated urban areas tend to be blue. All of these rural areas tend to go red. Okay, so this was last time. Notice this, the Rio Grande Valley, which is this line down here, the southern border of Texas. You know, we're having a lot of issues with the border security. That's been a big deal, just in topic for crime and for all kinds of reasons. Now look at this year. The light blue indicates that it was a lot closer. It wasn't heavily Democratic. So let's look over here on the Rio Grande Valley. These pinks have flipped from dark, dark blue to light red. So either people who didn't vote last time voted this time, or people have changed their mind. They see what's happening in their state and they've decided to make a change. Houston is light blue now instead of dark blue. San Antonio, Austin, Dallas, Tarrant County even turned. So these patterns mean something. And you know, for a 10-year-old, an 11-year-old, maybe this seems like, who cares, Miss Connor? Well, all of these things actually have a really huge impact on you because you are going to be living the policies that come out of this administration. Everything that happens when Donald Trump is president for the 47th president are actually going to affect you probably in bigger ways than they will affect me at the ripe old age of 48. It makes a big difference. And you getting this opportunity to see kind of behind the screen of the great and powerful Oz for elections gives you a lot of information. And you know that I tell you all the time, information is power. You have a lot of power in your voice. And so becoming an informed citizen is the very, very bestest thing that you can do for your kids too. So this was a very historic election. I don't know if you could say very historic. It was an historic election. And here's why. Donald Trump, won the popular vote. Donald Trump won the Electoral College. That's a big deal for a Republican to win both of those things. The GOP is leading in the House of Representatives, which means they have the majority, and they're also leading in the Senate. So the House of Representatives and the Senate, you guys are going to be learning soon, are where all of the laws are made. Remember, the president doesn't make any laws. He can sign executive actions, but he can't write a law. And these people do. And so the House of Representatives and the Senate work together to make laws that they think will make our country better, stronger, greater, all of those things. And when you have people that are in agreement and you have a majority, that comes with a lot of power, if you really think about it, because the majority is kind of on the same page. Now, in 2 years, we're not going to have a presidential election, but we are going to have another election in 2 years where the House of Representatives has people who their term is up. And so it will be interesting to see if the Republicans hold that majority. So these next 2 years are going to be critical for both parties. The GOP wants to show everybody they're doing a good job so they can keep their job. And the Democrats would like to flip some of those seats because they would like the majority to have their voice be the louder, stronger voice in those areas. So it never ends. Like we're like, woohoo, the election's over. It's not over by a long shot. It's really just a cycle that happens over and over. But all of these patterns and trends are things that we can learn from and make our own decisions about. So what is next? Well, we are one of the only nations in the world that has a peaceful transition of power. A peaceful transition of power means that the leader who is currently in place says, okay, you won. Here's the keys to the White House. This is the toilet you got to jiggle the handle on. And this printer, you have to hit it twice to get it to work, and kind of show them the ropes. In other countries, it is less nice. Sometimes it involves violence. We're used to this because we're Americans, but it is very much not the norm in the world. And so I said next time we're doing peaceful transition of power, but I think we're going to take a break from elections next time and do something else that's really close to my heart and a current event. But we will be talking about that peaceful transition of power. If you were able to hear the president speak yesterday, he made a big deal about, like, we're ready. We're ready to help Donald Trump, that we've heard the voice of the American people. That's what they want. And so they're going to host Donald Trump at the White House. They're going to have a luncheon. And so Melania Trump will have lunch. Joe Biden will be there, and they'll have a lovely little sit down chat. JD Vance will travel to the home of the vice president, and Kamala Harris and Doug Einhoff will host him and his wife. And it's just a nice handshaking, thank you for your service sort of thing. And it's very not what the rest of the world does. And so we'll take a peek at that more. So right now, I want to take a moment. Let me unshare for a second. No, I don't want to share anymore. There it is. Stop share. That's where it is. I want to take a minute, and I'm going to give you some time to think of any questions that you might have for me about this whole thing. If you paid attention to it, if you were like, that's really weird, or I'm curious about that. If I don't have the answer for you, I will find the answer for you. But I just wanted to give you some time, students, to think of any questions that you have. These are not personal questions. This is not like, who did you vote for, Miss Connor? Because we've already talked about how that's not really considered polite. So do you have any questions for me that I can help answer? And if not, I'll give you your little assignment and off you will go. You can put them in the chat. You could turn on your mic. Little uncomfortable wait time. My hat. The whole time I was fussing about my hair, I forgot to wear my hat. Okay. If you think of something, you know where to find me. You could talk to me in person. You could send me an email. Any of those things. Your activity today is going to be to, thanks, Miss Ritchie, is going to be to look at your electoral map from last time. So what I have done is I have added a link in Schoology for a site called 270 to Win. It has the electoral map. And so you pull out your electoral map and see what you can recolor it or circle the numbers in blue or red, and then fix the bar at the top. I think they're going to call Nevada and Arizona for Donald Trump, so that would give him 312. And then that map is yours. You could frame it to remember our time together this year. I'll sign it for you if you want. Just kidding. But be careful. It is an interactive map. And if you click the states, it will change who the state goes to. And so then you'll have to refresh it to make sure it's the 2024. I mean, you're not going to hurt anything, but if you click on a state, it's going to change who the electoral votes went to. So just know that it is interactive. And next time, we're going to talk about something very different. We are not going to do politics. We're going to take a little break and we're going to talk about something different. And no, don't ask me. I'm not going to tell you. I'm not. I hope you guys have a fantastic Friday and a super restful weekend. And I can't wait to see you in the hallways and next week. Thank you, everybody.